Just moments ago, a major shift in the conflict spiraling across the Middle East. In a surprise address, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian announced a conditional halt to all missile and drone strikes on neighboring countries. Now, this isn't some simple peace offering. It's a stark ultimatum that could completely reshape the war. So, what does this really mean? What's forcing Iran's hand? And is this a genuine step back from the brink, or just a desperate pivot? To get what a big deal this is, you have to remember how we got here. It was late February when the US and Israel launched a massive joint military campaign. While some reports use different names, it's widely identified as a broader campaign that included Operation Rising Lion and Roaring Lion, targeting Iran's military and leadership. The strikes were decisive, and in early March, they killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, leaving a huge power vacuum at the very top. Iran's retaliation was fast and furious. It unleashed waves of ballistic missiles and drones, mainly at Israel, but also targeting US military assets in neighboring Gulf countries. This dragged nations like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Qatar straight into the line of fire, sparking condemnation and putting them in an impossible position. For years, these nations had tried to lower the temperature with Tehran, but Iran's attacks were seen as a huge strategic blunder that shattered regional trust. That brings us to today. In a televised speech, President Pezeshkian, who is now part of a temporary three-man council running Iran, did something almost unthinkable. He apologized. He said, "I must apologize on my own behalf, and on behalf of Iran to the neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran." But right after the apology came the ultimatum. Pezeshkian announced that the leadership has ordered the military to stop all strikes on its neighbors, with one critical condition. The ceasefire only holds unless an attack on Iran is launched from their territory. In other words, Tehran is drawing a new red line. It's telling its neighbors to choose, stay neutral, or you're the next front line in this war. While offering this conditional truce, Pezeshkian remained defiant toward Washington, rejecting President Trump's reported demands for an unconditional surrender. So, what's really driving this sudden change of heart? This looks like a calculated move coming from a position of weakness, not strength. First, Iran's military has taken a serious beating. The US and Israeli strikes have been relentless. While specific numbers are hard to verify, some reports suggest a dramatic decline in Iran's missile and drone attacks, possibly as high as 785%, because their launchers are being successfully destroyed. This ceasefire could just be a tactic to save what's left of their arsenal for their main targets, Israel and the US. Second, the diplomatic fallout has been massive. By attacking its neighbors, Iran turned would-be mediators into victims, forcing them to publicly condemn Tehran. This move by Pezeshkian seems designed to repair some of that damage, isolate the US and Israel, and get the Gulf states to guarantee their neutrality. And third, there's the chaos inside Iran itself. With Khamenei gone, the regime is fractured. While Pezeshkian didn't use the words fire at will, his address and other official statements suggest a struggle for centralized control over the armed forces, particularly the powerful Revolutionary Guard. This announcement is a clear attempt by the new political leadership to grab the reins of a military response that was quickly spiraling out of their control. The big question now is, will it actually work? This puts the Gulf Arab states in an incredibly tough spot. They're stuck between their long-standing security ties with the United States and Iran's very direct threat to start firing again if they think US jets are taking off from their soil. This could be a real, if desperate, attempt to de-escalate and focus on the regime's own survival. Or it might just be a strategic pause for Iran to regroup and rearm before the next even more dangerous phase of the war. The response from Washington and Jerusalem is going to be critical. If they see this as weakness, they might just double down. But if the Gulf states can use this as a diplomatic off-ramp, it might just be the sliver of an opening needed to pull the region back from the edge. This situation is evolving constantly. To stay on top of the latest analysis as it breaks, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Iran's conditional ceasefire is a lot of things at once. It's a public apology, a direct threat, and a clear sign of the immense pressure the regime is under, both militarily and diplomatically. It's a gamble to regain control of its own chaotic military and patch things up with neighbors it desperately needs on the sidelines. Whether this marks the beginning of the end or just the end of the beginning is anyone's guess. But what is certain is that the balance of power in the Middle East has just been shaken to its core.